podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome into Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, the host of, I already said that, alongside me, the full CHGO White Sox crew. You can follow Vinnie Duber on Twitter, our CHGO White Sox beat writer, at Vinnie Duber. The man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter, at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. I am thrown off by Alex's comment saying the White Sox aren't going to lose today, which is true.
It is true.
Hey, I'll take victories, the small victories where we can.
Well, there won't be a victory either, so.
Right,
Yeah.
but there's no game.
It's a double-edged sword.
No pain, it's just, I can't be hurt today, which is great,
Careful walking down the stairs.
White Sox
I
can't
might
hurt
take
you.
the elevator, which would be out of my routine. Maybe the elevator's going to get stuck, and I'll be stuck here forever. Now what's wrong with you? Now you're giving me a panic attack.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to.
Am I going to be harmed?
I'm just trying to continue to paint the picture that there's more to life than complaining about a baseball team.
The White Sox won't harm you today.
Complain. I'm not being bitter yet. I'm enjoying the ride.
Sure.
I complain about one person.
Well, you can do both.
Yeah, I complain about one person. I mean.
Yes, you do.
That's about it. I guess I complain about two persons. Two people. I complain about the guy who signed, and I guess it's
Everybody out there, drink.
Yeah.
Sean brought up Benintendi.
I never said his name. You said his name. On today's show, we aren't going to talk about that guy. He's here for 5 years. We are going to talk about Lucas Giolito because he's a unrestricted free agent in 2024. And not only has Bob Nightingale brought him up before as a possible player that the White Sox might sell at the trade deadline, Jeff Passan also brought him up at ESPN today as a player that might be traded at the trade deadline regardless of record. So we'll talk about how long Lucas Giolito's future is here in Chicago and if they would actually sign Lucas to a long-term deal. There's been multiple extension talks. We'll get into it. Then, main event, all right? We're saving this for the B block, but, this is the true part of the show. A 15-minute exclusive interview between the two mustachioed men, and, it's not even Dylan Cease. It's Jake Berger and Vinnie Duber, our own Vinnie Duber. So Vinnie sat down in the dugout with Jake Berger, first base side, if that's important to anybody.
Third base side.
Third base side. I don't know anything. Your name's Vinnie Duber. I do know that, and you dress up as Southpaw during the games. Those are the two things
half
that I
of
know.
that is true.
Okay. But it's a great interview. Jake's really bubbly. I think, we've seen Scotty Pods go into media. We've seen Ozzy go into media. This guy could definitely go into media. I'd like to listen to Jake Berger talk for a while, and you'll hear him talk to Vinny for a while, which is great. So thank you to the White Sox and Vinny and Jake for their time and getting that exclusive access. That's fantastic, and to Casey as well for filming it. So we'll get into that, and then Jake says something. I won't spoil it. That I think will dominate the rest of the show, and then we will go home and enjoy our weekend and join you on Sunday for more Chicago White Sox baseball. Let's jump into the main event, though, or not the main event, the headline. Lucas Giolito, will he be a White Sox for long? Is the trade deadline this year the end, no matter what the record is, no matter how many games back, will the trade deadline be the end of Lucas Giolito's career with the White Sox, ... for now? Hey, you never know. Winds blow different ways. Ethan Katz might be here for a long time. They like each other.
Yeah.
But, will he be traded at the trade deadline this year, no matter the record?
I do not believe so. You're not going to get equal value for Lucas Giolito. So somebody's trading for him. They're probably going to get you a minor leaguer. I know the White Sox traditionally like to, when they trade a pitcher away, like to get a pitcher or two back for that pitcher. So it would signal... they already are struggling to field starting pitchers right now. I know Mike Clemenger's supposed to be coming back tomorrow, but trading Lucas Giolito to me would signal something that, no matter the record, that makes zero sense to me. Unless they can get a actual starting pitcher of his caliber, then why would you trade him? I know his contract's running up, and why would somebody trade for the same caliber pitcher that they're giving up? So, no, I don't think he'll be traded at the trade deadline. Now, will he be back next year is a different question, but you didn't ask me that. But I don't think, no matter the record, he will be traded. That doesn't make sense at all to me.
Yeah, what jumps out about your question there is that line, no matter the record. I mean, they could be in first place at the trade deadline. Might not seem super likely right now, but they are only 7 games back. And Rick Hahn just talked on Monday about them not being able to make a decision on Memorial Day because of the situation in the AL Central. Well, 3 games later, and the situation hasn't really changed. They're 7 games back. They're 12 games under. Basically, kind of the same they were at. So I can't imagine that just 3 games against the Angels here in at the end of May made a huge difference in their ability to make that decision soon. So yeah, if they're in a position where they are technically contending for a division title, why would you trade the guy who's been your best pitcher? That doesn't really seem to make much sense. But when you're talking about the flip side of that coin, right? The next month and a half progress, and the White Sox aren't close to contending. They aren't going to be in contention for that division title. Usually, that's when a team becomes a seller, and Lucas Giolito, because of his contract situation, would be among those candidates that you would talk about that could be heading to another team. But I don't think we're there yet, and so I understand that this is the point of conversation right now because the White Sox are. And their record is what it is. But I think that Rick Hahn saying that they haven't made a decision yet means that those conversations can't really yield a definitive answer yet for that very reason.
Yeah, and I understand that. But what Jeff brings up, and this is something that we've kind of talked about even before this article, we've obviously even talked about when Bob wrote this back in April, that Lucas might be traded no matter the record. And that was when they were losing, right? I mean, even Rick said, it's hard not to have a better month than what you did in April. But what Jeff wrote today was about Jerry Reinsdorf, and we know that that's never changed, at least for 40 years. He's been the owner. And people around baseball don't believe, and this is from Jeff Passan today from ESPN.com, don't believe owner Jerry Reinsdorf, the master of transactional half measures, is particularly inclined to blow things up. So maybe it's Giolito and Lance Lynn and possibly even Liam Hendricks, but the quote about Lucas is, regardless of whether they claw their way back into AL Central contention. So that's why I bring it up.
Yeah.
And I mean...
Well, the difference between Giolito and those other 2 names that you mentioned are that the White Sox have contract options on those 2 guys. There's a much broader, conversation to be had about the direction they go. The answer that I just gave you about Lucas is probably the same that I would give you about that. What has changed between Monday and now? Nothing. So they haven't really made a decision on where they're going to go yet.
That's true. But also, what does Rick Hahn gain by saying, "Oh, we're going to trade Lucas Giolito"?
Well, sure, but that's also true. The division is within reach. That's true.
Absolutely. No, I'm not
they
saying
go.
that's
They
not,
go.
Yes.
They go on a 4-game winning streak, a 5-game winning streak. They don't even have to, rattle off 12 in a row. They go on a meager winning streak, and the gap between them and first place is not very big. So that's just math right there. But to that point, there is that whole if he's going to leave, do you get something for him before he leaves kind of thing. Again, though, I think the main driver of that is can they make the playoffs? Making the playoffs would be, given what April was, making the playoffs would be a big deal for them, and Lucas Giolito could help you do that. Presumably, if you're in the position where you could make the playoffs, he has helped you to that point. So getting rid of him doesn't really make any sense. I'll bring up one more national name since you're citing Jeff and Bob. Ken Rosenthal today in The Athletic talking about kind of the starting pitching market in general and what it might look like at the trade deadline. He brought up Lucas Giolito's name, and we watching the White Sox have seen that Lucas Giolito has been the White Sox's best pitcher. Doesn't mean he's been one of the better pitchers in baseball. And that ERA plus that he has is just over league average. I mean, so it's not necessarily, he's not going to be kind of this guy that brings you back this super haul in comparison to some of the other names that might be available.
And maybe you don't need a super haul, though, but what you've brought up recently in a piece, and I don't think it's changed too much, they are still 7 games back. And, I mean, they have the 3rd worst record in baseball, right? I mean, if they were a National League team, they'd be the worst team in baseball.
Yep. Well, they'd be the worst team in the National League.
Worst team in the National League. Thank you. Because the Royals and A's still exist. But, I mean, that kind of gives them an advantage, no? Because the playoffs are expanded. I understand bad divisions exist. I mean, the AL Central obviously exists. You're probably not going to trade to anybody in the division for Lucas Giolito, even though he is an unrestricted free agent. But even the NL Central exists. I mean, the Brewers are pitching Julio Teheran. They can go get Lucas Giolito. I mean, we've seen them go get Zach Greinke and CC Sabathia just for the end of the year and said, bye-bye. We can't afford you. I mean, that might be a possibility if they do want to contend. So I'm just saying the White Sox are bad right now, and that's what we were kind of talking about yesterday. I know you said we don't really want to repeat the mistakes of last year, kind of, saying, oh, will they, won't they? Steven, do you have the graphic about that Adrian made? You can go follow Adrian on Twitter, at Sox Twitter. It's TWITTE, or TWITT3R. Sorry, it's okay, Steven. Don't worry. Just flash. You're good. That graphic is the right one. I'm sorry. You're good. I was just giving credit to Adrian, who made the graphic. This is the person. I didn't make this graphic. Adrian made this graphic on Twitter, so you can go follow Adrian on Twitter there. But this is completely different, and we kind of were surprised that the White Sox even had a 4.3% chance to win the AL Central as of yesterday. But as you can see, I mean, like, at the start of the year, I mean, they were above 25%, and after that 10-game losing streak, that put them a little bit below where they currently are, but not by much, maybe a percentage difference or so. Like, this is kind of what they are. And even when NBC Sports Chicago was flashing the worst record in baseball history to win a division, it's like, that's what we're hoping for? It's like, they might get to 82-80.
That's where they are.
Right, but they might be one win better than what they were last year. I think it's fair enough that we could say we aren't seeing it. So why not go and get something for Lucas? I understand, hey, let's go compete, but I mean, you can get something, and you are one of the only people that have at least a fourth or fifth starter available for the many contenders that are out there, and you are a bad baseball team. You're 23-35.
Yeah, and you're talking about maybe they wouldn't trade in division. Tomorrow the White Sox are going to host the Tigers. They're putting up some guy I've never heard of in my life that has a 6 ERA in the minor leagues because of necessity. That is a trade partner that I could see the White Sox in division, since it's only a 3-month or 2-month rental, trading Lucas Giolito to. If they think that what Lucas and his representatives and what they project Lucas is going to ask for in their offseason is way too high for what they want Lucas for, I would entertain that, but also it's just going to be very hard for them to get any type of value back for Lucas. If you're just doing it to get a warm body in, do it. But as Vinny said, he's a little above a league average of like a 4+ ERA. He's good, not great. He's not going to bring in – no one's going to be checking for Lucas. It's like, man, I need Lucas Giolito as my 4th or 5th starter, because that's what he is going to be on somebody else's squad, pretty much, a 3rd, 4th, or 5th starter. He's not going to be the top of rotation guy, so they're not going to give you a top-notch prospect coming back or even a major league guy coming back that you could actually use. So, if you're going to do it just to get a warm body instead of just losing Lucas for nothing – do it, but I don't think he's going to get you this insane haul or even a good haul coming back for a 2-month rental.
But with Davis Martin having Tommy John, we're not really sure what Mike Clevenger's going to be with this full season. I mean, right now he's injured. He's possible to return tomorrow, so we'll see more of his pitching. But it's not for sure that he's going to be on the team in 2024. And Lance, as you said, he's got an $18 million option, the $1 million buyout. I mean, it is for sure and certain, or it's possible, that Dylan Cease and Michael Kopech are the only healthy major league level starters. So I understand you
that are under contract
because Davis Martin is injured. He's got just had Tommy John. So I mean,
he would not be ready for the start of next year, you would imagine. Right?
So you need warm bodies. I mean, this isn't the cream of the crop. This isn't a contender. They're 23-35.
Yeah, but I'm saying that warm body wouldn't be a starting pitcher. Even if it was
contract,
it would be great starting pitchers.
You can get a quad. The White Sox don't have a quad A guy. I mean, that's the thing maybe it's Jesse Schultens, but like Davis Martin was that quad A guy. They don't have any depth. If they're able to get like 2 quad A guys or maybe a quad A guy and a triple A guy, that's depth. I mean, you're shaking your head, but like that's just.
I would rather go the full season with Lucas and take my chances in re-signing him than getting people I know are not going to be starting pitcher, major league starting pitcher level next year. So it makes no sense unless somebody in the division or around the league is like giving you a prospect that you can't believe, which is not going to happen. I don't believe that's going to happen.
Well, do you believe that the White Sox will be in the market to sign Lucas Giolito in 2024? At least, throwing out that Dylan and Michael Kopech are, the guys that are under contract for next year without any options. Because Lance, it's possible that he could return for $18 million if they pick that option up. I even discussed with Steven, maybe they buy him out at $1 million and are still in the market. It's not crazy that they say, all right, Lance, go test the market, and maybe we bring you back for $10 million. So instead of paying you $8 million, we're paying you $11 or whatever, right? You take a pay cut if you can't find a better contract somewhere else. But there's the rumor that Lucas turned down a $50 million 4-year extension. Would the White Sox be in that market? We just saw them make a play for Andrew Benintendi for $75 million. Would they continue to try to keep this rebuild going? Because Luis Robert's still here. I brought up the Mike Trout comparison. You have a center fielder that's worth 9 WAR. That's one of the most important positions in all of baseball. So is it that crazy to say, we're not going to be in the market to bring Lucas Giolito back in 2024?
They should be in the market. They should be in the market for every starting pitcher. They're going to need in the scenario that you described 2 to 3 starting pitchers. Now they've got an option on Clevenger. I suppose you have to talk about the possibility that he could be back, but that wouldn't figure to be the most likely thing to happen. But they need pitching. Davis Martin's not going to be ready for the start of next season. Who's going to pitch these games? They need to go out and sign 2 or 3 starting pitchers. And again, we don't know what direction this team is going to end up going yet, because it's very possible that they could go in one of 4, 5, 6 different directions. But what we do know is that Cease and Kopech aren't going to pitch every game next year. So they're going to need to go out and get somebody to fill these in. And if they're looking to compete, if they're looking to win games next year, Giolito is figures to be one of the available starting pitchers. So they should be in the market for all of those. And
my point, I guess, is, you can go trade him now. If you want to pay him next year, you can go trade him now and say, hey, we'll be in your market next year. But instead of going and signing 2 to 3 players in the offseason, you could just go trade for 2 to 3 guys. And again, it's warm bodies that I think this team's looking for. This is why I guess the national guys were reporting this. No,
you're describing a situation in which this team is not trying to compete next year, right? That's what you're doing. You're saying trade Lucas Giolito for 2 guys who might not even make the team under other circumstances, because they need starting pitchers to pitch innings. And if that's the case, that's not a competitive starting rotation.
Nope.
Well, Vinny, looking at some of the options available and what the White Sox have done historically, I got a little game for us to play here. It's called Laughable or Plausible. And I got a list of players here that are going to be free agents. A couple have a player option. Okay. And we're going to go through this list right now. We're going to see how plausible or laughable it is that the White Sox actually sign one of these players.
So do this quick.
All right, Marcus Stroman.
Right? No. I'm just saying, so you're saying just with all these names, just,
Yeah, quick, rapid fire. Okay. Stroman, any chance?
He seems to like being a Cub.
Laughable.
Very laughable.
Julio Urias.
No. Laughable.
Yeah, but he's a lefty. We're going to need some lefties at some point, right?
Yeah, he's top of the market lefty, too.
Correct. Yeah, not happening. Hyunjin Ryu?
Maybe.
Plausible because he's injured.
Yes.
I agree with that, and he's a little older, too. That seems to be their style, right? Noah Syndergaard.
100% plausible.
And there were some rumors they might have already had interest in him before. Aaron Nola.
Laughable.
I would love it, but I agree with you. Laughable. Sonny Gray.
No,
I think laughable.
Not hunting the division, huh? Blake
Isn't
Snell.
his ERA under 2?
Yeah, he's having a Cy Young kind of season.
Blake Snell is, I think, very plausible.
Why?
He used to be great. He's fine last year. This year, not as much.
He is walking everybody right now.
So that's perfect for the White Sox. We can regain his form type of stuff. He can go back to being all-star type of stuff. That's the press conference. I can hear it already.
Frankie Montas?
He's hurt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so plausible.
That's, once again, that's our type. We got that. Kente Maeda.
Hurt, so plausible.
Once again, we're looking inside the division here. Jack Flaherty.
Plausible.
Giolito's old teammate.
Because of the pitching coach.
Yeah, Ethan Katz. Maybe there's some tie there. Tyler Mahle?
But Lucas has a connection with Ethan Katz.
And everybody else on the White Sox. Right, yeah.
Obviously, but if you're bringing up Jack Flaherty and his connection to Ethan Katz, isn't that the reason why Ethan Katz is the pitching coach?
Yeah,
It
was that
is
time, 100%.
Lucas's
Lucas.
connection.
Oh, well, he vouched for him. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Ethan
Yeah.
did great work in San Francisco.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm not trying to discredit anything else, but like, I mean, I feel like it's odd to see that split. Like, I guess that's why it's just.
But again,
I think
here's the
out of
thing.
all of these, I think the most plausible would be the White Sox just trying to continue this relationship with Lucas. And I mean, we even see last year when it comes to arbitration, they're arguing over a certain dollar amount, and Lucas is talking to the media in spring training about that. And it's just like, I wonder about the relationship of getting a contract done, and I wonder about the seriousness of the White Sox paying anyone who isn't injured or bad money to pitch for them.
Lucas and the vast majority of other players in Major League Baseball want to go to free agency.
Yes.
They have earned the right, putting in their time to go to free agency, and it usually works out quite well for them. Top tier guy, mid tier guy, whatever. Usually you get a nice raise going to free agency because free agent contracts really only go up. They don't go down. So Lucas deserves to go to free agency. He should see what every team wants to give him. And if the White Sox say, you know what, last few years, we really liked what you did. We liked you in the clubhouse. We liked you on the field. We think you can be that ace of our staff. We're going to go ahead and give you the biggest contract offer of any team out there. Then he'll come back to the White Sox. But this is a guy who, interested in the union and the business side of the game.
Yep.
He has every right to go and get the most money that he can go get. And that's probably what's going to happen. Should the White Sox be in the market for any of these guys and all of these guys? Yeah, they should, but we'll see what happens.
Is there anybody else, Steven, that I don't know?
Andrew Heaney is
There's a couple
name.
interesting names. Like Eduardo Rodriguez, he has an
Lefties.
opt-out in his deal, and Andrew Heaney, same thing, lefty.
But
at some point, this lineup needs, or the starting rotation needs some balance. It's just righties.
Why? They want guys who throw hard.
They had Dallas Keuchel, and they DFA'd him.
All right,
Steven.
Vinny wants
was
Dallas
bad.
Keuchel back.
I mean,
you heard it here first.
We do have some super chats. Thank you very much. Let's get to them, and then I'll ask them to Herb, because I think that's why people are super chats. There was one rating I was looking up some ratings of our podcast. Someone gave us a 2-star and said Herb needs his own podcast.
No, I don't.
Oh,
That's-
a side cast, if you will.
I like the
that's
symmetry of CHGO HERB.
No.
CHGO.
You don't want nonsense for 24 hours. That'll be bad.
24 hours. You'd be on all day?
I mean, I got to do
Pass
this
out.
show, and
When
then I
would
got to
you-
do my
when
own
would
show.
you-
Apparently,
when would you shower,
and
Herb?
the, and
2
the,
hours.
and the two damn stars
Math
too.
is
Come on, man. That's disrespectful.
Husky Bardo saying, will they give him the qualifying offer? They didn't with Rodon. I think it's about $20 million. Would they give him the qualifying offer?
I think so. I think they've learned their lesson, and his free agent market seems to be in that range.
So you're saying let him pitch for us for the entire year.
Yeah.
We'll qualifying offer
Yeah.
him. And if, it comes to that and he accepts it, boom.
Boom.
That's
yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, a 1-year deal. Maybe you can work out a contract extension out of that. I mean, that's what they did with Jose Abreu, I think. But, yeah, give him a qualifying offer because, as Vinny says, there's going to be 29 other teams checking in. I don't know if 29 other teams are going to be giving offers, but Lucas is a major league starting pitcher, and some might see him as
Former
a
All-Star.
middle rotation pitcher, or some might see him regaining form. We get him in our lab, we get him in our ballpark, blah, blah, blah. He can thrive type of stuff.
So very interesting that you bring that up. So can we flash the Lucas stats for 2023? Obviously, we brought this up. UFA, unrestricted free agent in 2024. He's tied for 15th in innings pitched so far in 2023 for qualified starters. So tied for 15th at 68 and a third innings pitched. Tied for 42nd in ERA at 4.08. He is 37th in Sierra. That is skill-independent ERA, or Scrabble numbers to Vinny, at 4.16. An F4 of 0.9, tied for 42nd in the league, and you used ERA plus earlier. That's at 107, which is a little bit above average, or 96 for ERA minus, which is kind of like golf score. You want the lowest score possible.
What is the difference?
Just reverse.
Just dumb.
Why?
People just making up a number.
Know. I don't know, and honestly, I use Fangraphs to make this, and they use ERA minus.
ERA
and-
minus?
Yeah, and Baseball Reference uses ERA plus.
Yeah, some guys like, oh, god damn, that dude just made ERA minus or plus. I gotta make ERA minus or Sierra or Will Bacon.
But I mean, he's a top 50 pitcher. I mean, like, I get like the scoff at it, but like, you talk about the people needing. I mean, we talk about Lance Lynn not being DFA'd even if he's bad because the White Sox need people to eat innings. I mean, even to get to the playoffs, you need somebody to eat innings. No, I mean, I just feel like I'm crazy
You're not
that
trading for an innings eater, though. You know. Listen,
but the Cardinals traded for Jordan Montgomery. That's not. I mean,
Lucas Giolito would be helpful to a team in the playoff race. That's easy to say. Yeah. I don't think anyone's arguing that. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I mean, I just think I think it makes a lot of sense for them to trade him, no matter their place in the division. That could be the one piece that they trade because, again, the division is bad, and if they get a guy, they could, not lose out on him walking in 2024, which seems very likely. I mean, we just saw the Cubs sign Jameson Taillon to a $68 million deal.
I thought it was
That's
right.
An AAV over the qualifying offer, and you're giving that player 3 more years of security, and he has a career WAR of 14. I just told Steven that Lucas has a career WAR of 13.1. I don't think Lucas is that much better than Jameson Taillon, and I do think that he'd put himself into a spot where you see those numbers. He is probably appealing to – I mean, the Royals willingly paid Jordan Lyles to pitch for them.
They had to have somebody.
I think that $20 million for a team, maybe even like the Mets, because like Verlander and Scherzer, one of those guys is a UFA.
Yeah, Scherzer.
Like, I mean,
I didn't put him on the list because
we're not going to be in there.
We're not going to joke like that.
The Mets pay everybody. I mean, hey, come pitch $20 million for us. The team that we just saw, everyone's saying, oh, Lucas Giolito's bound to be an angel. They pay everybody. If they pay Shohei Ohtani, they're going to need more players to pitch for them. I mean, I'm just saying, like, get something for the guy before he walks. And we just saw that Taillon got a more appealing deal than the qualifying offer.
But also, they could offer Lucas the best deal. That could be the thing. They could actually be proactive and say, we actually do like you, and shop around, do your thing, but also come back to us before you go and sign that deal because we want to match that offer or something like that, or offer him initially the biggest deal because they still, I believe, have exclusive negotiating rights for like a week before he turns into a free agent and everybody has negotiating rights. So I would say to him, or if they really want him, they can offer him a deal that's better than everybody else's deal. But get him off the team and then bringing something just to have something, I think is foolhardy. It's just to get warm bodies in. It's not to get actual talent in.
Yeah, nobody's ever like, oh boy, we're going to win the division because we got warm bodies.
But also, like, why do you have to get warm bodies? I mean, teams overlook what they have in-house all the time. The Giants willingly let go Groot Santos.
But so this is the thing, though.
But I'm just saying, like, if Ethan Katz is a good to great pitching coach, he could see a warm body that, hey, we could tweak something. I mean, they like high-velocity guys, and if they're able to, Carlos Rodon was nothing. I mean, he just got $168 million. He's pitched an inning for the Yankees. So I'm just saying, like, I mean, they were able to transform that player. Groot Santos couldn't throw a strike. They've been able to transform that player so far. Keenan Middleton, where the hell does he come from? I'm just saying, like, if the White Sox and Ethan Katz are able to see something in a major league or quad A level player that they can turn in, I mean, Davis Martin, where the hell did he come from? All I'm just saying, it's just like, it's not crazy that they could have, a logical thought.
They and you are putting way too much in the Ethan Katz basket. Yes.
And why hire him?
He's good.
Why is he the pitching coach?
He's good, but the staff has not been good this year, so there's got to be a reflection on him, right? When it was good, we were like, man, this Ethan Katz is the shit. When it's bad, we got to say, hey, man.
Okay, but I just gave you options. I just gave you examples of Groot Santos and Keenan Middleton. It's not all bad.
Oh, it's not all bad.
I mean, it seems like it's more Dylan Cease not executing his pitches. I mean, his guy, Lucas Giolito, those weren't his numbers. He wasn't that good last year. No. Lance Lynn seems to be old. That's not Ethan Katz's fault. People age.
I'm just saying.
He's not Father Time.
You can't do both. You can't give credit for Keenan Middleton and then not give him a little shit for what Lance Lynn is. He's the pitcher coach for all of those guys.
But I never said he. I'm saying if he's worth his salt, you should be able to go find something. That's all I'm saying. I never said he was good, great. I said that.
No, I'm just saying you're not balancing the scales correctly.
No, I'm saying that if you, the White Sox, think that he's worth his salt and you think he's a good to great pitching coach, he should be able to find something, period, because he's been able to find something in those examples. I'm not saying that the White Sox are good or anything. This is like people with Benintendi saying like, oh, he's not the issue. It's like I never said they are. They're all below average. They're 23 and 35.
No,
they should sell everything.
I get what you're saying,
at least
Sean.
Giolito, if he's walking out the door no matter what, they're not paying him $60 million. Get something for him because, hey, it could be a boat. It could be a pile of shit.
I disagree.
Who knows?
I disagree. I disagree vehemently because that's
Okay,
just
that's fine.
because
It's a show.
it's just we're not going to sign him. And that type of thinking also is bad because you're firstly giving up on this year. Because if you're giving up your best pitcher, there's going to be no hope with the bad
He's
team
not
they
their
already
best
have.
pitcher.
He's by far their best starting pitcher this year. It's not even close this year.
I'm not trading Dylan Cease for a reason.
I'm not trading him, but he hasn't performed as well as Lucas Giolito has. And then also you're telling you're telling your team, hey, we're going into next year with 2 guys signed for a contract. We're just going to get some warm bodies in here because we have only 2 guys signed to a contract next year because of our bad planning. So we're just going to get some quad A guys, some AAA guys that might have potential, and say, Ethan, go and do damage. Instead of, hey, we have a lot of money now. Like, these contracts have been run up. Let's go and look at Jordan Montgomery. Let's go and look at Martin Perez, these guys, and bring them in. If you're going to do that, I would just have Lucas Giolito finish the season off, offer him the qualifying offer. If he rejects it, at least you get some compensation for that, but just that would be your warm body that you want. That would be the compensation that you would want for Lucas Giolito. I think would actually be a better compensation than the trade to any team for their whatever players.
We'll see. All right, let's get to the final super chats, then we'll get to the ad break, and then we'll get into the main event of Vinny having a much more chill talk with Jake Berger. Sorry, everybody. I didn't mean to go dark side, Husky Bardo, but appreciate the support. Eli saying, what would upset Jerry enough to do another rebuild? And will they get Theo Epstein to do another rebuild? Thank you, Ellie, for the super chats. Watching all the way over in Israel. I'm going to say no to Theo Epstein, just because, again, you're talking about warm bodies. I'm saying warm bodies with a plan. If Rick Hahn's running the show, I think we're getting warm bodies. I guess that's my main issue is, who's running the show, and I guess the plan could be better if you are trading Lucas Giolito. But no, I don't think Theo Epstein will be doing another rebuild, and I think Jerry's got his plans elsewhere with this team.
And Theo Epstein's much higher than the White Sox. He'll be probably in the conversation for next MLB commissioner. He's making all the rules that you're seeing. Theo Epstein had a part in these, so he's bigger than the White Sox. He's a Hall of Fame baseball person. He is. He took 2 teams to the World Series. Pretty good. 2 fledgling teams that hadn't won a World Series in 80-plus years. He's a Hall of Famer. He's not coming to the White Sox.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think, you hit it right on the head there, Herb. Mm-hmm. He's probably got bigger things coming down the road and you say bigger than the White Sox. He's bigger than any team.
Yes.
He's bigger than any one team right now. He will probably be thinking about all 30 at some point. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, let's take a break here, and then we'll get to Vinny's great interview with Jake Berger in the third base dugout. I don't know why I thought first base. I feel very...
You're thinking...
That's the other team's dugout.
Yes.
The White Sox always have the same dugout.
Or Cleveland. They do.
You think I'd learn how many times I've been there since Herb and I are diehard fans.
I'm a White Sox White fan.
Yeah, literally. And I'm saying, hey, they're playing in a first base dugout. We have podcasts and live shows on every team every single day. And my favorite part about this company, CHGO, is we have a beat writer on every single beat for each team. And it's him. And that's why he's at every White Sox home game, just like Southpaw. Just saying, it's interesting. But he is not only covering the team ferociously for you. I'm assuming you're going to be at most of the games this weekend,
I'll be there on Sunday.
Yeah, he'll be there on Sunday. And he's always there. That's the fun part about Vinny. Was there on Monday covering Rick Hahn, talking to the media. Was there for Liam Hendriks' return as well, and writing 7 to 8 minute reads for free on allchgo.com. And if you want to support what we're doing here, you can become an official member, a diehard member of us here at AllCHGO. When you sign up, you get a free shirt when you become a member, and you get access to the members-only Discord where our guy Ellie hangs out, and he also was hanging out with us with the happy hour as well for our diehards. Same for Husky Bardo. He's always hanging out my bad for no Mailbag Monday. It wasn't Monday, but usually we have the Mailbag Monday part 2 where you
can
get
have
to ask
one
us
on Monday
questions for the show.
I was walking around the concourse at the rate yesterday, and I was stopped by one of our viewers, Brendan. Shout out to Brendan for stopping and saying hi.
Probably.
And he's saying that he's
Brendan.
I
don't think Brendan.
Oh, not Brendan. Oh,
He was he's considering going to the diehard level. So
Maybe.
if it's good enough for Brendan, it's good enough for you guys.
Let's go, Brendan. All right, but check out allchgo.com and you could become a diehard there. And also too, you get discounts when we do tailgates. So too,
Bears games. Oh man,
like Bears Packers are already been announced for week 1. For a tailgate there. So very, very excited. And I know we've already done one for the White Sox last year, and hopefully that's in the plans for later this year because, I mean, there's still baseball in June, July, August, September for the White Sox to be less than 7 games back in first place.
There's some for October, too.
What you got on your forehead, Herb?
I got some Shady Rays.
Look at that. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with the warm weather head with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. They have durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses backed by lost and broken replacements. I'm very clumsy. I have sat on my Shady Rays. They have durable frames, so they're not broken. I still use them each and every single day. But also, hey, Vinny's got them on too.
Yep.
I'm so blind. I'm so engulfed in the read. And Vinny's got them on.
He's got his white.
Herb's got them on.
Usually he has his white rimmed glasses. This one he's got this like amber color.
They're like wood. It's like a wood grain type situation.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
Oh yeah.
But, I mean, hey, I lose shit all the time. And here's Shady Rays, lost and broken replacements. They're not going to ask any questions. Together with their customers, too, they are providing much support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact, from building playsets to pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoors adventure of a lifetime. Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now for now and for years to come. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized shades. Try for yourself these shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Let's jump in to Vinny's exclusive interview with Jake Burger. A lot to touch on, not only about Jake and his rise to the White Sox originally, but also, you know, the news of, hey, you're not making the team in 2023. He discusses Sugar. Doesn't really roll off the tongue. His walk-up music.
Beats would be much better, you would think, but yeah.
Beats would be better.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more. It's 15 minutes long. It's great. Shout out to Vinny for interviewing Jake Burger, for getting the interview. Shout out to Jake for doing it. White Sox media relations as well for allowing us to do this in the third base dugout, and Casey for helping film it. So
Thanks, Casey.
Here is Jake Burger and Vinnie Duber.
All right, two mustachioed men sitting here on the south side. I'm Vinnie Duber, and this is Jake Burger on the CHGO White Sox podcast. Jake, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So we're going to get this one out of the way first. What's the best burger that you've ever had?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to, please my family here. My dad makes really good smash burgers, so, I'm going to have to give him the credit. But, it's tough to pick a restaurant that has the best one. The Buffalo Wild Wings one is really, really good.
You're going with B-dubs.
Yeah, it's actually good. They're known for the wings, but it's pretty solid.
Okay. That is not what I expected. I was expecting like a nice, neighborhood joint in St. Louis, maybe something like that. But okay, B-dubs it is. There's an endorsement deal maybe on the horizon. So, Jake, you're having some success this year at the plate, and when you look up and maybe think back a little bit, what does it mean to be doing this right now after what you've gone through as a pro ball player with the injuries early in your career?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, to say the least. I think this year I felt like I made some strides this offseason coming into this year, and just kind of controlling what I can control and slowing down the game a little bit. So. It's been awesome so far, and I just got to keep it going.
What did you learn from those injuries? I know you've been open about, what was going on maybe in your head during that time. What did you think you learned about not necessarily just your life as a baseball player, but just life in general during that time?
Yeah, I mean, you learn a lot about yourself when you're going through something like that. And, I battled some depression and anxiety, and, it's you learn a lot about yourself and how you carry yourself. And, my parents always said, don't live with regrets. And, that's what I try and do every single day. I translate that to out here on the field. I know what it's like to have the game taken from me and not being able to play it. So I try and attack each day, with no regrets and work as hard as I can. And the results take care of themselves.
You've been very public about talking about mental health and that kind of thing, whether it's been through social media or whether it's been an interaction in person with someone who's come up to you. What has the feedback been like on that?
Yeah, I think I tweeted out what I'd been dealing with. I think it was in March of 2020, and I just said, hey, if anybody's out there that's struggling, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And the feedback was unbelievable. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling or have a family member or friend that's struggling, and it's when you start talking about it and kind of get the stigma out of it, people open up and kind of tell their story. And there's not one person that I walk by on the street that I'm not going to treat with respect, because you never know what they're dealing with.
Baseball seems to be experiencing more of that openness in talking about this stuff. We've even seen guys, go on the IL for some of this stuff. What about baseball? Maybe it makes that easier for folks to talk about or to confront. And also, too, what have some of your conversations been like with guys around the game in this regard?
Yeah, I mean, for me, opening up, I felt like I had a good platform, to kind of get my story out there, and try and make people realize, like, we're human too, and we're going to deal with the same stuff as everybody else. And I think that's really important to talk about. And then around the game, it's a lot of people deal with it. There's a lot of guys in there that have dealt with injuries, and when you have the game taken from you, you do go, into a darker place, just because that's what you've done your entire life, right? And so you want to try and get something off the field, a hobby or something that you can, find passion in, because when this game's taken away from you, you kind of lose sight of yourself.
Let's change gears a little bit and talk about Scherzer. You guys had a plan to be some sort of two-headed monster here at the plate. Obviously, you've both gotten some opportunities this year to get extended run, but what's your friendship like with Gavin?
I always say he's like my little brother. I'm 13 days older than him, so no, he's awesome. I still remember when we both got drafted, and I don't remember who slid into whose DMs, but from then it was kind of like an instant friendship, and I think we really find each other like brothers. I think that's kind of how we view each other, and we're always super jacked up for each other all the time, and it's just it's a really special friendship, and it's really special to be able to play with him every day.
There was one game where we came in and talked to you, both homered or something like that, and so we were doing the interviews side by side, and we're talking to him, and you're ripping him the whole time. We're talking to you, he's ripping you the whole time. Is that kind of an example of what you're talking about? Of course, your lockers being so close to each other probably helps.
Yeah, we got to thank Rob Warren for putting us so close together in the locker room. But yeah, no, I mean that's every day. If we get outside our routine a little bit, we'll hold each other accountable and be like, hey, like, come on, man, like, we got the hot tub right now, let's go. We're always kind of bouncing those ideas off each other with our routine, and whether it's an approach at the plate, and obviously they're different because it's a lefty versus a righty batter, but I think we're really good at communicating what we're doing on the field, but also razzing each other off the field.
Who looks better in the home run celebration outfit?
I got to give it to myself, I think for me, it's like I put that on. I feel like Superman or something. When Gavin puts it on, he kind of looks like. I guess I'll say I look like Batman, and he looks like Robin in that scenario. Sure.
Have you seen the Hamburglar comparisons online?
Yeah, my wife sends me them all the time. So I got to thank her for that, and she keeps me humble too. So
Elvis came up with this.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had to explain to Elvis who the Hamburglar is?
No, he knows, and it's kind of sticking in the clubhouse, which I don't fully appreciate, but I'll wear it.
Okay. Another little off the wall thing here. I want you to know that you have by far the best walk-up song on the team. Is it because you're in Chicago, you picked a Chicago band? Are you just a big Smashing Pumpkins fan, or is it that despite all your rage, you're still just a rat in a cage?
I'm gonna say it's all three.
Okay.
Yeah, I really I actually really analyze what I'm gonna use as a walk-up song, and for me, like, lyrics have always spoken to me. I've always really looked into the lyrics of every song I listen to, and I really like the lyrics and that. And then the Smashing Pumpkins, I mean, I've always really enjoyed them, and just their sound's just so unique. And then obviously Chicago. So yeah, it's a perfect trifecta, right?
you hit the tic-tac-toe right there, I think. Going back to the spring, you were talking about some of the changes you were able to make this offseason, the mindset you approached the spring with, but you didn't make the opening day roster. Pedro has talked numerous times about how that was a very difficult conversation for him to have with you. What went through your mind back then when you found you weren't making the team initially after a pretty good spring?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a disappointing conversation for me too, but I kind of took it as a positive. I get to play every single day, and just keep developing myself. It's hard not to realize, and I have to remind myself sometimes, like, I missed 3 years of baseball, and so there's still a lot of learning I have to do, and I think I always try and spin stuff like that. That is disappointing at first into positives, and kind of take it in full stride. So I was fortunate to work down there with Jersh, and he's awesome, great manager down there. So it's obviously when you go through something disappointing, you try and spin it in the positive way.
Yeah, and then you get the opportunity up here pretty quickly, and it's been almost nothing but positive so far for you in terms of the results and what's been going on for you individually. How do you kind of sum up what you've been able to do so far this season?
Yeah, I just try and take it day by day and pitch by pitch, and just try and win that pitch, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the game hard and compete every single pitch and not take anything off and not take anything for granted. Like I said, with my story, it's about just showing up and doing the work and working as hard as I can and playing as hard as I can, and that's fun to me, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Particular success here at home. What do you like about hitting at Guaranteed Rate Field?
I don't know. I just love it. I love the fans. I love the energy. The Smashing Pumpkins gets to get played 4 or 5 times a night, so that's always a positive too. But I don't know. I've just always really enjoyed, and it's 5 hours from St. Louis, so get to see my family a lot when I'm up here, and it's very similar weather to what I'm accustomed to and what I played in growing up. So I think that could be a factor as well.
Especially today, it's hot.
Yeah, good old Midwest, right? It's 40 degrees one day and 90 with 100% humidity the next.
You've told us a few times that every day you go to the park, your wife tells you to provide some fireworks with a home run. You've hit a lot of them, you've done it a lot, but the days when you don't, do you get home and she's like, dude, come on, what the heck?
Yeah, like last night I go 3 for 4, right? And she's like, oh, well, there's no fireworks, so it's a failed day. Like, I don't think you realize it's a good day, and she actually saw a video on Instagram Reels of, like how quick we have to make a decision at the plate, and how hard hitting is at times, and so she's like, okay, like 3 for 4 is not bad. After watching that video, gave her some perspective, but it's still a failed day if I don't make fireworks.
But she's married to a big leaguer, and she's just now realizing, man, that what they do is kind of hard. So maybe some of the folks in the stands, need to see that reel as well.
If I do go for 4, 0 for 5 with a couple strikeouts, I'd be mad at myself too.
It was obviously a tough first month for you guys here, and a much better May, but a long way to go for you guys, as you keep saying. What was that kind of like in the clubhouse? What was it like as you guys were experiencing kind of that 10-game losing streak and really just not being where you thought you'd be at this point?
Yeah, especially that 10 games, it felt like we got punched in the face, and all we could do is show up and compete the next day. And unfortunately, we didn't get the results for those 10 days, but obviously, I feel like we've responded really well in the month of May, and Pedro's been awesome, and just kind of getting us, hey, like, let's get our work in every single day, and the results will take care of itself. We have a great clubhouse, and we have a lot of talent in that clubhouse. So, it's just taking it day by day and not looking to the end of the season or looking to the All-Star break. It's hey, we're going to focus on today, and if it doesn't go our way, hey, we got tomorrow, and we're going to show up and compete and do everything we can to win that game.
I was going to ask you about Pedro, kind of what kind of mood, atmosphere has he cultivated in there, and maybe how does it compare differently to some of the managers you've had in the past?
Yeah, he's been awesome. His communication, what he preached when he first came on board here. It's been showing every single day with me, and I don't have a bad word to say about him. Like I said, I think I said it in Kansas City. Like I'd run through a wall for him. He's the type of manager that I want to play as hard as I can every single day for him and for the team, and can compete as best I can.
All right, what are you most looking forward to now that summer has arrived? About summer in Chicago, that's we're very proud of how nice summer is here. What are you most looking forward to about summer in Chicago?
I love summertime Chicago. It's everybody says that, right? But for me, it's just like the vibe, everything. It's just like a very like low key, cool vibe. And I'm not a big lake person, so I don't think I'll see myself out on a lake during an off day or anything. But just being able to go outside and walk around, and that for me has always been important for me. Is going on a 45-minute walk and off the lake. That's typically the preferable spot for me.
Not a big lake person. So now, are you more of a river person or an ocean person, or just not a big water guy in general?
I'm not a really big water guy in general. We had a pond in our backyard, and so I'll say I'm a pond person when it freezes over and I can play hockey on it. But swimming's just kind of like to me.
All right, I'm gonna. This is a challenge right now. You ready? You might make some enemies here. What is one thing that Chicago does better than St. Louis, and one thing that St. Louis does better than Chicago?
Oh, God. It's tough. That's a tough decision. I mean, with Chicago, I think that a hot dog here and the brats and sausages, they do it right here. This might be, I'm going to make some enemies here, but
I know where this is going.
St. Louis, I actually love St. Louis style pizza better than Chicago style pizza.
So Jake, I went to Mizzou, so I'm a Missouri college boy just like yourself. St. Louis pizza is terrible. It's terrible. Come on, man.
To each their own. I mean, you said I was going to make some enemies.
You did.
And
Me, apparently, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? The South Side does pizza probably better than anywhere else in the city. Maybe we'll have to bring something here over to you, and you do a little taste test.
See, I like Beggar's Pizza.
Sure.
I think the deep dish, I enjoy it, but I don't prefer my pizza that way. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's too sloppy for me, I guess.
Okay. All right, like you said, to each their own. I think the next, somebody hears this, they get mad. The next time you hit a home run, they'll probably forgive you, I would imagine.
Exactly.
All righty. Well, that'll just about do it with Jake Berger here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. Jake, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
It's going to be awkward next time you see Jake Berger in the clubhouse, huh?
It would be Sharks and Jets over that whole pizza situation. Absolutely.
Has he not heard of tavern style? It's not all sauce. I looked at what St. Louis is. We'll talk about it. I don't think that's pizza. You can make a friend though by letting him know about ComEd, right?
Oh yes.
Jake Berger loves pizza, right? I mean, maybe he's picking the bad pizza, but we'll let you know how to pick the right energy efficiency. Test and
do you know why?
Assessment.
They have the energy efficiency program, and they're committed to helping families and businesses and communities that they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future, Vinny.
Yeah, Herb, you're right. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across our very saucy pizza territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like those for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
As a public sector customer, I would like to know, how does that work, Vinny?
Well, an authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Now, here's more good news. Okay. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, project cost, potential incentives, and simple payback. If you happen to own a business, don't wait. And here's the CTA, otherwise known as the Chicago Transit Authority. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Did you say ComEd.com/poweringbiz?
It's true, I did. So schedule it today.
It's right there on the screen, guys.
It is.
If you're watching.
If you need to learn how to spell it, it's B-I-Z and also there for you.
Good job, guys.
Ta-da.
Thank you, Sean.
We also, since we're friends, you watching, and we would like you and ask you to hit that thumbs up button. We're at Ozzie Guillen. We would like to, no offense to Ozzie, we'd be like to be a little higher.
Craig Greenbeck.
So him as well. Anybody else?
No, I'm saying the next one would be Craig Greenbeck. I know
next one
people
would be
go to
Paul
Paul
Konerko, probably, yeah.
I know people go to Paul Konerko.
Or Belton Bill Melton.
Because that retired number, but whatever.
Melton Bill Melton was 14 as well, I believe.
We love Bill Melton.
Dated by Regan.
You know, I wouldn't. Bill Melton never seems stressed, and I think it's. I don't think we can actually say that.
There it is.
Friends, use Game Time. Don't be stressed out about buying tickets. Don't buy Taylor Swift tickets. Okay, I'll let you know that. Whether you're hunting down the best price or trying to find them last minute, or competing with buyers for a popular event like Taylor Swift. I mean, if you are going to go, use Game Time. You're going to get the best price. You're going to get the easiest and quickest tickets downloaded to your phone. It is the simplest and easiest process. And two, if you do later find tickets that are in your row or section that are for a less price, you get 110% of the Game Time guaranteed. So you really don't have to stress out. Again, personally, I would not go to Taylor Swift, not because I don't like her music. I just think it's a very exorbitant amount. I think it's crazy that, for a 62,000 seat stadium, the get-in price, as Kevin Kaduk says, is like $1,800. For game one of the Nuggets final, it's like $500, and I'm pretty sure the capacity difference is like 40,000, which is pretty crazy.
But what I would do
in favor of the $1,800,
if you want to go to that Taylor Swift concert and you want to go in by no matter what,
use Game Time.
Use Game Time. Wait by the stadium and wait until the prices drop. That's what I do when I want to get to a game that I want to go and pay less than I usually would pay. I just sit by the stadium. It's like, oh, all right, dropping down, cool. And they tell you when the last call is too, so you can just hit it and say, do I want to pay this much for it or do I not? It's a decision to be made by you.
Well, and two, you get images of your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive or if you're about to walk in. So if you are about to have last call, make sure that it's not obscured. Is that the right one?
Obstructed.
Obstructed view. So shout out to Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress of Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed. These two lovely bobbleheads, the TA and the Southpaw bobbleheads, were donated by FOCO. Make sure you check them out at FOCO.com or click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. You get scroll forever on their bobblehead section, whether it's White Sox or really any sport.
Or if you're a University of Arkansas baseball fan, you can get yourself a bobblehead.
An Andrew Benintendi one.
Drink. Pig Suey.
So get fitted in the best sports gear around. They have hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. And it's spring and baseball season. They have Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. So again, check out FOCO.com. That's FOCO.com, or click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. Okay. It looks like St. Louis pizza. It looks bad. You obviously
I've eaten it.
You told Jake Berger.
I told Jake Berger I've eaten it.
That's
the
bad?
thing. I wasn't going to be like one of those guys that's like, mine's the best. I'm not going to try yours, even though mine is the best. But I've eaten that stuff in college, and I know a lot of people in college are like, oh, whatever's cheap, that's what I'll eat. No, you have to have some pride. And this St. Louis pizza, they all go crazy for it down there.
Ugh.
It's clearly because they've never been here.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, and he was mostly talking about deep dish pizza, which is also delicious. But
Right.
as everybody knows, tavern style is the shit, and that's what we do here in Chicago. And I don't think Jake has ever had any tavern style because he was talking about it gets sloppy. I'm like,
Well, here's what I'll say though: St. Louis style pizza, they don't have a lot of sauce on there at all.
yeah,
Right.
And so, even just a regular
Ketchup.
amount of what we would consider a regular amount of sauce is probably very saucy to someone from St. Louis. But again,
Even on a
they're doing it
tavern
wrong.
style?
If you
They're
haven't,
doing it wrong.
my guy Brendan McCaffrey used to say, if you haven't had St. Louis style pizza, go to your cupboard, get a cracker, go and get some ketchup,
Yep,
get some cheese whiz,
Yep.
eat.
that is accurate.
Here's what I will angle for. I'm pretty sure with the way that, now with teams facing all other 29 teams, pretty sure the White Sox will be in St. Louis.
At some point, yeah.
To
Next
get
year.
the budget, I would like to drive down to St. Louis. We'll have Jake Berger before a game, hopefully, if he's kind enough to share more time with us.
Probably won't.
Come out to a St. Louis joint of his choice, pizza joint of his choice. that he
Emo.
approves
Maybe they
of.
only have the one. Yeah,
Emos.
They only have one?
Emos.
that's the one everybody talks about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll go to Emus.
IMO.
Who cares? Elmos. Wait, St. Elmo's Fire? Is that down there? Or is that
That's
No,
an indie.
that's an indie.
Who cares?
The
Again,
cocktail sauce.
Who cares? But we'll try his pizza. We'll be kind, and then we'll take him to Vito and Nick's. We'll try, Southside Pizza, and then he doesn't have to talk about that, and he doesn't have to be enemies with you.
Doesn't have to make any more enemies.
You wear a tavern style pizza shirt, and
I
you should
have
wear
that,
it
yeah.
next time on Sunday when you see Jake Berger.
And get in his face about it.
What's up, bro? All right. Talking about that series with Tigers, we'll wrap up here. Likely that Mike Clevenger and Elvis Andrus return.
I mean, nothing official about it, but the timelines would seem to match up for both those guys to be back this weekend. Yeah.
All right, Herb.
But we'll see.
You excited for June baseball for the White Sox?
I mean, I'm excited for any type of baseball, maybe not White Sox baseball. They are my favorite team. But, the last 5 games that they've lost, they've struck out 50 times. That's 10 per game, Sean. I'm the math guy now in this show.
Oh, wow, look at you.
And part of that was going against the Alex Faedo, which you're not going to have to face. But the second guy they lost to was Jarrett Lorenzen. That guy will be pitching.
Michael Lorenzen.
Oh, Michael Lorenzen.
Jared
Oh, not
Lorenzen was the Pillsbury throw boy.
Rest in peace, Pillsbury throw boy. Michael Lorenzen. Yeah, he's dead.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's currently dead. He'll be pitching on Saturday versus Dylan Cease. So I'm looking forward to that matchup because the last time he pitched here versus the White Sox was the Angel last year. He went 8 1/3, and then gave it up in the 9th inning, and the White Sox almost came back and lost 6-5 to the Angels. But he's been dealing versus the White Sox. I don't know why.
Because he's right-handed.
And throws sliders or sweepers.
What did you say about Olsen? Sorry, you have a mouthful of food.
Oh, it's Reese Olson tomorrow.
Olsen.
Reese Olsen. Didn't you say it's just the minor? Someone said
I've never
Reese Olsen,
seen
minor
a more
leaguer. They're bad
terrified
against
look
him.
on anyone's face than Steven, which Sean
Mid-bite.
just points to him and goes, start talking. He's got a full mouth. Oh, my goodness.
I said the White Sox play up and down in their competition, which means tomorrow they're going to get lit up.
Guy making his major league debut tomorrow, who has a 6+ ERA in the minors this year, is going to be facing the White Sox tomorrow.
Is he right-handed?
He is right-handed.
There you go. Am I crazy? Does Steven say tomorrow weird? He sounds like a more East.
Sean's been pointing out
Shore
he's an ageist, and he makes fun of the way I talk.
Wow.
You're just
Yeah.
old.
Sean, this is not – you're not looking good here.
Yeah, bad look. And he hates Andrew Benintendi. Nice
I mean,
guy.
if you listen to,
He is a nice guy.
I never said I hate Andrew Benintendi.
You say it multiple times a day.
Just
wrong
walking
with you?
around every day.
Aren't
like,
you a
"Ugh."
journalist? Aren't you
Just-
supposed to be reporting the truth?
Just
Lying
every day,
through
like
your teeth, Vinny.
man, this
Duber.
Andrew Benintendi.
Sorry, you crush him multiple times a day.
There you go. That's fine. I give
Walking
him the
down
old
the
Macho
street.
Man elbow drop. But
Walking on the West Loop. This Andrew Benintendi ain't shit. It's like, goddamn, Sean, why are you talking like me for?
You drive up and down Ashland sometimes, you'll see if you drive every day like I do, you'll see new graffiti sometimes on some of the billboards. I saw one the other day that was like Benny sucks, and it was signed Sean Anderson.
oh wow.
Yeah. You're just graffitiing it randomly.
I'm
all
blacking
over
out
places.
and graffitiing.
Yeah. It's rude. It's rude is what it is.
You
I've
said
never
you-
done it before. I
you
think
said-
it's tacky, honestly.
You said you used to sleepwalk, so,
Mercy.
Sleep graffiti.
We're at Gordon Beckham Like. So, again, if you are hanging out with us, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button and hitting that subscribe button. We would appreciate it. You made the point, though, Vinny, before the show, that this Detroit series is one of the last times they see the AL Central. They will go to New York to play the Yankees. They'll come back and play Miami. Then they'll go to L.A. to play the Dodgers.
No.
Then they'll play the Mariners in Seattle.
Damn it.
Then at home, they'll take on Texas and Boston for 3 games each. Then 4 games at Los Angeles Angels, and then they will play the A's, for 3 games starting on June 30th and extending into Oakland before we mercifully will reach the All-Star break.
That's tough sledding.
Yeah, just after that, then Toronto, St. Louis, then we reach the All-Star break.
Those are all good teams after that Oakland team.
Yeah, I really do think that this is going to be a below 500 month again for the White Sox in June.
Well, and here's the thing. The conversations that you guys and all three of us have had the last few days since Rick talked about the direction that this team is going to take, if they keep playing the way they're playing and against that kind of competition, a month from now, we will be able to have far more definitive conversations about that direction.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to add, Herbie?
We will have that conversation in July 1st.
You think July?
Oh, right. When they're playing the Oakland A's and losing one of those games, I'm like, here we go.
You started groaning after I mentioned they go to L.A. to take on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And take on the Mariners at
Yes.
Seattle. When Rick Hahn meets the media on Monday, June 19th, will we be seeing more of a definitive, just to have a marker to look forward to, will we hear more of a definitive statement on June 19th?
I wouldn't expect a definitive statement at that point, but again, it's all based on the results at this point. So if they get swept in 3 of those series, then it'll get pretty definitive pretty fast. But I would imagine it probably takes a little longer than that. Yeah.
Next time after that would be July 4th when they welcome in Toronto. Maybe there's more clarity there. So we'll see. Make sure you're following along. Hit that subscribe button to not only watch more CHGO White Sox podcasts, because we have post-game on Sunday and all throughout the week next week covering your Chicago White Sox. Happy Pride Month, by the way, as well. I'm wearing the hat. Totally forgot to bring it up before. It's on my head, but I'm just, I'm not looking up there. It's kind of, I only see the brim. I don't see the actual hat. But shout out to everybody that is celebrating. And it's great that Liam Hendricks is back. And, I know he's been such an advocate. So hopefully we get to hear more about the great organizations that the White Sox want to partner up with this month. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure you're subscribing, hitting that like button. Thank you to Stephen Nicholas for producing the show. That's Vinnie Duber. We will upload that Jake Berger podcast solo as well. Fantastic job by Vinny, and again, shout out to Casey for filming it, and to Jake and the White Sox for helping give their time. You can follow Vinny on Twitter at Vinnie Duber, and he will be with us on Sunday. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader, and I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We will talk to you on Sunday. Go Sox.